Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. I am not sure where this is going to go. I have ideas of what I want to talk about, but we'll just kind of see how this plays out. Also, hopefully, going to be joined here shortly by Rose Red, and she is wonderful. She's so kind and supportive. So, looking forward to hearing from her. I'm also not actually going to ignore chat this time. I'm sorry about that. Usually it's small text. It doesn't pop up often. It's very slow, very delayed. But I can see it this time. And I guess, figure this out from here. I'm also about to drop a link if anyone else wants to join us tonight, share thoughts on what we're talking about. I'm about to do that right now. I believe this is the right link. If it will let me post. And maybe even pin. Hi, Lori, Rosie Posey, Andrea, Kathleen, Peppermint Patty. Hi, I'm sorry if I miss anyone. Again, not sure where this is going to go. There are some things here and there I want to talk about. I have a Q&A thing I can go over until Rose joins us. Hi, Gwen Johns, my Michelle, Karma J. Let's see, who else? Debbie Boyd, Susan, Banana DW, April, hi. I'm so glad you're all here. There are several things I want to go over. I do have theories of things as well. They're only theories. I'm not going to get too analytical. I think that's kind of boring when it comes to live streaming, unless I can share my screen, which I currently cannot. I'm on a mobile phone. It won't let me. But hi, is everyone doing okay? What all are you up to? Hi, Soft Kitty. Hi, Mom Shack. You can all hear me, right? Hopefully. Hopefully, the sound's coming out well and not broken. Oh, I see, Rose Red. Hey, Rose Red. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I cannot hear you if you're talking to me. Can you all hear Rose Red? I can't hear her.
Can you hear me now?
I don't know what's going on. Probably my phone. What? Okay. Give me just a moment. I have to go see if maybe my earbuds will work here. I'm so sorry. One moment. Yeah, normally I don't use my earbuds because normally that doesn't work out for me. I'm so sorry, Rose Red. I cannot hear you. One moment. Rose Red, can you say something?
Hello? Hello?
I'm still not hearing you. I'm so sorry.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Okay. You know, is it a live stream without technical issues?
Okay. Whoa.
Do I need to try to, I guess, log out and re-enter? Is mine crackling or is it worse or better? Hi, Melissa. Yeah, that's so weird. Oh, she's crackling? Okay. Good. Good. Because most of the time when I use my earbuds, this does not work out. No one can hear me. So I try to take a lot of Zoom calls with my earbuds in, and no one can ever hear me. So I'm glad this is coming through. Hi, Wendy. All right, let's see this time. Hopefully. All right, let's see now. Did it freeze?
Can you hear me?
No, you're talking. I still can't hear you. Oh my goodness.
No? Uh,
All right. Let me try again.
let me see. Can you hear me now?
Because everyone can hear me, and you're not muted.
Hello?
There's an echo. Um, wow. This doesn't
Okay.
normally happen. Normally, I can hear people that join,
I had it on a
and they can hear
microphone.
you. I cannot
Maybe
hear
it's
you.
better without.
Hi, crafted evidence. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm not sure really what to do here.
It says here,
Because I can see
everyone
you're
can see and hear
talking.
me.
I just can't hear you.
Can anybody else hear me?
Let me try without the earbuds again.
Okay.
All right. Can you say something, Rose Red?
Hello? Can you hear me now?
Huh.
Can you hear
It
me
was
now?
very low, but I could almost hear.
Okay, hang on. I'll turn up my phone a little bit. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, crafted evidence. Sorry, Debbie Boyd. I can't hear if she's talking or when she's talking, and it only
Can you hear me now?
barely
Is that better?
tells me. Okay, let's see. All right, say something.
Hello?
Now I can hear you. Okay, I don't know what that was about.
Okay, got it now?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. That was weird.
It's a little bit delayed.
It is.
That's fun.
All right, finally. 30 minutes of this is just us saying, "Can you hear me? Can you hear me?" All right, so I see you posted about Ivory Rose knows her home being broken in, and you had told me that that you don't know any other information, but where did this come from? Like you had a post, where was that on TikTok?
Yeah, it was on TikTok. One of my viewers sent me a post for everybody to share, saying that they're looking for the culprit of the doxing.
So, do you know anything about what exactly happened? Did she say?
Well, I got a message from another follower of mine, and she told me, I'm getting a lot of feedback here. I'm
From
getting reverberating voices.
do you have two different tabs open, or I mean, it could be on my end.
Oh, I do too. There you go. Voila!
Yeah.
We got it. We got
That
it.
has
Thank God. That would
that
have
has
drove me
happened to
freaking
me.
nuts. Yeah, so anyway, I got a message from another viewer saying that they heard, well, in a live, Key, Kei, I think that's how you spell her name, Key.
I
She
don't.
was in she was in a live with Bree and them, and there's a girl named oh my gosh, what's her name now? Shannon? Anyway, she was telling everybody that she was the one that doxed Ivory Rose Nose.
So is she related to what's going on with Gypsy?
Well, she's one of the in her camp, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was on a live with Bree because you know how Bree can go on like 12-hour lives, right?
Yes. Oh my goodness.
So I always listen from the doorway, but because if I go in, I'll get booted. So
Yeah.
so anyway, yeah, she told me that, and then the post was going around from Gypsy's new mama too. Shout out. Um, she's the one that started sharing the paper with the paper. Oh my god, how old am I? She was sharing the post that were saying that they were looking for the person who doxed her. So I sent the information I knew. I don't know what happened after that.
Hi, Crafted Evidence, by the way. Thank you for joining. And hi to Aesop's Inspiration, and Shorty Pie, Jamie. Hi to all of you.
Hi,
Hey,
everybody.
ladies, how are you?
I'm good. You?
Doing pretty well. Excited to see what's in store tonight. When Indigo told me she's going live, I'm like, yes, this sounds great.
Well,
Yeah, we needed a live.
yes, thank you for joining me. Thank you both, because
Sure.
I know it was kind of on a whim. It was sort of just today. I was like, hey, do you want to join? And I'm doing this, and not even a real strong direction here. Just, hey, we're going to discuss Gypsy Rose and whatever comes up. And I've got notes of things, theories of things I want to discuss, but we're just going to kind of see where this goes.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome. Purple Duck asks, sorry if this has already been asked, but do you think either Ryan or Ken are narcissistic like Gypsy? So I don't think that either of them personally have any kind of personality disorder. I've not seen any evidence of that, and I know that's not really a popular thing to say. And it's still possible, but I really don't think so. Because if you think about it, Ryan speaks a lot about Gypsy, defends Gypsy, a lot is about Gypsy, and he doesn't, or really hasn't until recent live streams, started to talk about his role in Gypsy's life and how he has helped her in any capacity. Before that, he's mentioned he's helped her, but mostly that he loves her and he stands up for her. As far as Ken goes, it's mostly the same. He does not solely talk about himself, focus on himself, how great he is. There doesn't seem to be as much gaslighting and manipulation that I would expect to see from someone who has narcissistic personality disorder. But everyone does have narcissistic traits, and so it's possible there's a reason that he comes off as narcissistic, even though I don't personally believe he has the personality disorder. So hopefully that answers that. And yes, I agree. He can be a bit arrogant. Hi, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name. Okafunokisto. I'm so sorry.
No,
But yeah.
I think you got it. You nailed that one.
Oh, thank you.
I liked what you said about. I was just having a conversation with someone about this the other day about how the word narcissist gets thrown around a lot. I feel like in the past couple years, and as you mentioned, we all have traits to, kind of show those characteristics, but it doesn't necessarily mean, that you have that behavior issue going on with you. So I like that you mentioned that.
Thank you. Yes. We all do things that can come off as narcissistic, that can be narcissistic. And I think there's a spectrum there, of course, when it comes to the personality disorder. But I just haven't personally seen any evidence that Ken or Ryan are narcissistic. And definitely, of course, not like Gypsy, not to the degree. They don't do the same things.
No, I think
Right.
with them it's more bravado.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Showboating and stuff.
I think Ryan, I do like that Ryan showed a picture of Gypsy when they were talking, because I was racking my brain for a while thinking, why would this man write her when she looks like, I'm not trying to be unkind, but she looked like a 10-year-old boy, when she was first locked up. And I was like, why would he write her? And in his live, he finally showed a picture, and yeah, she has long hair, she looks like a woman. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But I also, think he has some self-esteem issues going on. And that is why he maybe got caught in this trap with her. And he's still caught in this trap of defending her. And he says it's to protect his own mental health, that he's no longer talking about her, but I don't know. Every couple months I feel like we get a live stream from him or something.
They certainly seem to be going back and forth offline with each other. That's come out recently, and so there does seem to be a bit of baiting, and I can definitely see that from Gypsy, her baiting him into things, and him coming online and saying, "Look, this is what it really is," and
Hmm.
him revealing more information lately is, I think, I don't know, I think good and bad. I'm pretty torn when it comes to that because on one hand, um, I don't know, it could just make things worse, but on the other hand, he's finally standing up for himself.
Mm.
Yes, yes.
I think she baited him with sex because when
Yeah.
they were writing letters back and forth in prison, they were pretty spicy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I hate to say this, but he didn't look like the kind of men that got it every night.
Right,
So,
yeah.
so I
And,
think, he
she's
was looking
skinny,
for that.
and yeah, I have a feeling too, a lot of the relationship is more romanticized, right, through letters versus in person when you're in prison. And I think you probably fall in love with this person that's not realistic. I always say she seems like she thinks life is supposed to be a fairy tale. Um, and I feel like that's why she kind of bowed out of her marriage and didn't put an effort forth to try to figure out, okay, what's wrong with my marriage? Is it something that can be fixed? Instead, I feel like she just hopped back over to Ken, and now, things don't seem to be going well there either. So
In my
Yeah.
opinion, I think she set that up not to last.
I agree. Sometimes I wonder if her and Ken conspired to do this all along.
And Christy,
Yeah.
That's
Um,
interesting.
yeah,
I'm
I
just,
started
I
thinking
didn't
about
know
that
that.
too. And that
yeah,
Gypsy was in on it.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. She set Ryan up. She knew all along. I think after like the first week they were together, I think she knew from then that she was going to make an escape,
Right.
and
And I
she
bet they
tried
were
to.
texting, right? I mean,
Well,
and
she
this
tried
is
to
what I,
goad him into like abuse, like yelling at her and stuff like that. You know what I mean? To
mhm,
try to play the victim card again.
right. Because
So,
it's like she can't take responsibility and say, um, Ryan, I'm having issues with this or that. I feel like she kind of didn't even give him an explanation, and she really just did the worst thing she could have done. I mean, could you not have waited to go get with Ken and break up with your husband? I mean, gosh, I mean, he set everything up for you when you got out of prison. And I just feel like I feel maybe Ken was in on it too, and they used Ryan.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I
for sure.
can see that. I can see a little bit of that. She definitely could have waited. Real quick, and I'm so sorry to interrupt, but a few people are asking about hibistophilia, and I want to talk about that
Oh,
briefly
yeah.
because people want to know what that's about. And so there was a time that I had to look a lot into hibistophilia and what that was because I personally date a lot of psychopaths, literal psychopaths, and so unfortunately I had to look into that. Also, am I echoing?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, your audio is going in and out a little. It doesn't sound as crystal clear as when you first started.
Okay, give me one moment. I'm going to back out and
Yeah,
come back in and change that.
while you're adjusting that, you guys, if you could hit the thumbs up and share this out into the algorithm to help her out, that would be amazing.
Yeah, show Indigo some love. She works hard.
Yeah, I love her content. It's amazing.
Me too. Very insightful. I mean, she's more than like, us laymen who are like people watchers.
Right. Yeah,
Okay, do I sound better?
we had her on. Oh, did you fix it?
Sorry, do I sound better?
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. um, Thank you for letting me know. My goodness. Oh, Miss Behaven says she still hears it and it's
It
breachy.
sounds, I
Okay.
guess the best way is muffled to me.
Okay. Sorry.
Are you using a mic?
I'm using my earbud.
Maybe just use the regular mic without earbuds, or are you in a place where you can't?
All right, what about now?
Perfect.
Ah, yeah. It's like my ears popped.
Okay.
Yes. Much, much better.
Yes.
All right, sorry about that. You both are a little more muffled to me now, but I will just deal with that as I can. And sorry, I'm so sorry. Just all kinds of difficulty.
Okay, so you were talking about people that fall in love with serial killers.
Yes.
So I was talking about hibistophilia earlier, and so when it comes to hibistophilia, usually when it takes place is someone who has been raised and grew up in a very chaotic setting. Um, they're saying, oh, okay. In a chaotic setting or has been a victim of DV, of, those kind of relationships, it's safe and familiar for them to be in just as chaotic relationships in spaces that's just familiar. So what's not actually safe feels safe to them because it's familiar. And not only that, if you have someone that's in prison, you might think, well, they're not going to cheat on me. How can they? They can't be running around.
Mm.
So it feels safe. They can't potentially be cheating, even though that's not the reality of the situation. Usually someone can absolutely be cheating. We see with Gypsy, they could be writing to multiple people. They could be using them. There's a bit of that. And then there's also a bit of I guess, what is it called? Trying to be heroic a bit, trying to save them from a situation.
Mm.
It really appeals to the empathy of other people. So people like Ryan, maybe even Ken, it may appeal to their empathy a bit, and they have a savior complex, and it could be a bit of that. But most of the time, when it comes to hibistophilia, it's someone who isn't necessarily attracted to someone just because they're, a criminal. It's because it feels familiar, it feels safe, there's chaos. That's what they're more used to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
It
it
would
sounds like,
definitely say it's the hero complex.
yeah. And Ryan said it was more of like he did it on a dare, and then they, I guess, got deeper and deeper in conversation. But I kind of want to know, like, do you guys know really the backstory on how Ken got involved with her? Why did he choose to write to her?
He saw her documentary.
And he just like felt bad? Is that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Hmm.
Yeah. I know,
That's pretty.
strange.
Why do I feel like he's more of in it for the fame and the money versus, like, I feel like Ryan really did want the privacy when she got out, and um Ken just seems to me more like he knows this could be a moneymaker, or he knows it's a way for him to get some of the attention that maybe he's seeking out. Do you guys feel that way about him at all?
I think Ryan was the one that was looking for fame because, I mean, she wasn't out of prison for 2 minutes and he was bringing her to McDonald's asking the guy at the window if he knew who she was.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I
You didn't
didn't
see
see
that
that
clip?
part.
Oh, good
No.
Lord.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was doing that like quite a few times, actually. I think he liked the idea of being with somebody who, in his eyes, he thought was famous.
Yeah, maybe both of them, are kind of
Yeah,
like, well, maybe I could turn this into something.
they turned it
Plus,
into something, all right.
Yeah, they did. And it's interesting you bring that up too, because we don't see, I feel like we see more women writing to men who are, more dangerous, like the Chris Watts or the Scott Petersons, right?
Mm,
And this
yeah.
is so different because we have a female here.
yeah.
And I feel like she's getting more options thrown at her than a lot of people out there.
Hmm.
It's pretty
Well,
interesting. Yeah, I definitely don't believe his story about how he just felt so sorry for her, and that whole situation was weird. April said that, I believe it was April said that Raina, um, his mother wrote to her first, so I've never heard of
Hmm,
that. I'm not sure
I never
about that,
heard that
but
either.
interesting. Like maybe she was trying to set her son up or something.
yes, now that would be
But yeah, but he
interesting.
was dating somebody. He was dating somebody for like
Yeah.
5 years.
Could you imagine though your mom being like, "I have the perfect girl for you." Like, "Oh my gosh, you better watch out. You know what she did?"
Oh God, that's hilarious. Being a mother of two boys, I kind of get that. But my sons used to tell me, "Mom, stop trying to pimp me out." But you
Yeah.
know, but if I saw my son with a beautiful young woman who has a very good career, which Ken's girlfriend did at the time, and switch it over for what he got, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Something's not right in in that guy's head. I don't like
Moonflower
putting
says,
labels on people, but damn.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oops.
no, I was just gonna say, Moonflower says, I personally do not believe Ken saw himself actually being married to her. He was dumped by his girlfriend who's talking to Christy, and he got back involved. I absolutely agree.
Yeah, I think he feels panicked and trapped now. I just get that vibe. Like, I would be interested for you to kind of analyze some of his body language in these clips.
Yeah.
I sense he's uncomfortable. I sense he feels like I am really stuck now. I'm really trapped.
Yeah, so I did analyze, I guess, pretty generally his body language in the Vile Files interview. And I'm not sure if I still have that up. I don't know why I wouldn't, but that should still be up and I might do more. A lot of people have been asking me to analyze Ryan and Ken and other people more often. I just don't see a lot of their stuff aside from what's on Lifetime, and that's very difficult to pull
Hmm.
from because I have to dodge all the copyright stuff. But I will try to do that very soon. And I keep saying that about everything, but I really, Gypsy keeps doing more stuff, and then there's this other stuff that comes out.
Well,
But
do you
I
find
try
that
to.
like when you're looking at them from the TV point of view or even the YouTube point of view, do you find that you're only reading like the acting part of it?
I didn't catch that
Yeah.
last part. When I'm
Oh,
looking
do
at
you
both the
feel
interview and the
like
TV.
they're acting, you know?
Oh, yes. So his body language does seem more authentic when it comes to live streams, when it comes to him just in a casual, less formal, area, environment. And then when he's talking to people on Lifetime, even though he seems more honest, verbally, his body language is very uh, disingenuous. It's not comfortable. He's being more deceptive. He's just not being himself.
Hmm. Someone brought up in the chat that he may be undiagnosed on the spectrum. I'll speak for that. I am a big autism advocate, and there are some signs I see, but I'm also not a psychologist. I'm not going to diagnose someone based on that, but he does show a lot of these signs that maybe he's not on the spectrum, but maybe he suffers from a social disorder. Um, the lack of the eye contact, and just you can kind of tell he's a little more distant, I feel like, than Ryan was when it comes to touchy-feely, cuddly, that kind of thing.
So
Yeah.
I can't say
Sorry.
personally. Sorry, Rose Red.
Oh, sorry. I had to get up and shut the door. I'm trying to get down real quiet here, making more noise than I'm thinking. Okay, go ahead.
So Sylvana says, I'd really love for you to review and give your opinion on the interview where Gypsy said that her mom's last words were, "Don't hurt me, Gypsy." I think she was telling the truth. So when it comes to Gypsy, she projects a lot, for lack of a better word here. Really, that's what it is. When she twists things where it's something she did and not exactly what someone else did, something someone else did. So for example, she has said that Nick has done things that she has herself done. And I think we all know, based on the incident reports, kind of a lot of what took place there, and that it was more Gypsy than Nick. So she does a lot of that. And then when she's sad, when she's genuinely expressing sorrow, it's more inward. It's more about herself. And so when she's saying me and I, it's pretty easy for her to conjure up tears, real tears. But I don't believe that she actually heard her mother say those words. I don't believe that her mother had the time to say those words, and that sounds, I guess, maybe morbid, because I do believe that there was more to that situation than what came out. But I don't
Well,
believe that her mother actually said those words, had time to say those words, had the ability to say those words. And I don't believe she was fully being honest when she said that, but that maybe she herself had said that to Nick during role play. And I'm going to say it's my opinion because it's not going to be a popular thing to say. There's no evidence. It may seem outlandish, but that is just what just just looking at the bigger picture, the whole situation, position wise, where everyone was. And I don't believe Gypsy was in the bathroom. I still just don't believe, based on all of it, all of what I'm seeing, that Dee Dee would have the capacity to say those words.
Do you think it's something she heard in her head because she knew it was wrong, what was going on?
no, no.
I
I
agree
think
with Rose
Gypsy,
here. I don't believe so.
by her saying that, she's implicating herself.
Hmm.
She wasn't supposed to even be in the room, so how would she know what her mother would have said?
Right.
So she's implicating herself by saying she heard her mother say that. And her mother saying that to her means that she was in there. Right?
Yeah,
So
that's,
I don't
I
understand.
mean, yeah, the latest, I saw the latest video that, kind of, did you guys see where it kind of screws up her time codes of where she was and what she was doing at the time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So now
Yes.
But
I'm
Gypsy could never
wondering,
keep her
yeah,
story
were
straight
you,
anyway.
right, well, were you sitting in the bathroom the whole time? Here's the thing I have with that though. Do you think that she could overpower her mother? I think she could with drugs. Like if she drugged her mom before he
Well,
got
her mother
there?
wasn't in the best of health anyway, right?
Right. I mean, if she gave her
So
a bunch of like,
sedative.
yes, like anti-anxiety medication,
Mm,
pain medicine, and kind of had her knocked out before he got there.
that's possible. Very much
There are
so.
just a lot of unanswered questions, and when it comes to Gypsy, she's so dishonest that it's just so hard to tell. I mean, it gets confusing at times to everyone because the timeline doesn't ever add up.
Mhm.
Gypsy will sometimes appear to confess to doing it herself, and then other times she's saying, "Oh, I couldn't do that. Nick did it." And
Mm.
um, I see patterns of behavior. I see the patterns. I see when she's not being honest. You know, truly, that actually makes it more confusing sometimes because the timeline of what's in all the reports, all the documents doesn't add up to what I'm seeing and hearing from her and her patterns of behavior. Just a lot does not add up, and it can be actually more confusing. And I do believe she has more of a hand in it, but
Mhm.
if you ask other creators, they'll say, well, that's not true. We've got to stick to what's in these documents. And I agree that we don't want to spread misinformation, but just my personal belief is generally, I think she did have at least a little bit more of a hand in it.
She committed perjury. That's what I believe.
Yes.
I believe she got on that stand and she said what her lawyer wanted her to say. It had nothing to do with what happened.
Yeah.
Her lawyer said, look, you want to stay, because they wanted to give her the death penalty before they give her this plea deal. And he's like, if you want to stay alive, you better do as I tell you.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, like,
Right.
she had no choice but to either go along with the story or she's going to either, end up in jail for the rest of her life or she's on the chopping block.
Yeah.
So,
So
I mean,
along the
you got to
lines of
look. Oh, sorry.
this, speaking of the timeline, someone brought up that uh, in the autopsy reports, there was no indication of any medications or anything in Dee Dee's system. And I actually was searching today because I wanted to know what the salon-centric incident was potentially covering up. And I figured it could be her live stream that or not her live stream, her life after lockup episode that aired that night. Maybe she didn't want people talking about that as much as talking about what she got herself into with that whole incident. But I also came across uh, something saying, I think it was the autopsy report or something that said that June 2nd, there were medical records of Dee Dee's saying that she had all of these uh, things wrong with her, all these illnesses. But then it went on to say that there was no indication of medication in her system. So I'm kind of wondering if June 2nd, June 3rd, and June 4th, something happened there. Why was there a medical report dated June 2nd?
Yeah. How long was she in the house for until they discovered her again? I'm trying to
4 days, I
remember.
believe. They said
Wow.
June 15th,
Mm-hmm.
4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how somebody can do something like that. Not that so much the crime part, because we all know that happens every day, but the
Right.
part where she stays in the house with the actual body.
Well, and the
And
things they did in the house, right? Like, and
yeah,
then they go to the hotel and they're eating brownies and like
and
that to
laughing
me
about it.
is just how can
Insane.
you disassociate that much? Um, and I just have to think that's how she's been kind of all her life, is able
Yeah.
to pretend something else is really going on versus what reality is.
I think
She
in
does have.
Gypsy's mind, she wanted to portray herself as a queen.
Yeah.
First
Mhm.
thing she said, "Oh, when I came out of jail, you all yelled queen." I don't remember anybody yelling queen.
That's something she
Anybody
heard,
remember that?
right?
Like, who? You know? She's just, I don't know, she's something else.
That's pretty typical with people who have antisocial personality disorder. They just have no there's a part of the brain that, operates on empathy, on emotion, memories, operates on is the wrong words, but deals with emotions, empathy, all of that. And if there's damage to that, if there's underdevelopment to that, then you'll have someone who is very detached from reality, very detached from what they're doing. They can see someone in pain and that just does not register to them. That doesn't cause them the grief that it would cause us or other
Hmm.
people with empathy. It wouldn't make them sad because they don't know to be sad about that. That has never uh been reciprocated. That you know you know what I
No,
mean.
and they
It's just not the
and
same.
they they parrot emotion. So they'll
Yes.
watch other people's emotions, how they play it, and then they'll parrot it. And so
Yeah.
we don't even know how she's supposed to look like when she's lying. We don't know how she's supposed to look like when she's mad. We don't know because she parrots these things. In my opinion, soulless. She's got no emotion. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
empty
A lot
vessel.
of people bring up, is there witchcraft involved in this case? And at first I was like, no, I don't know. But then, you do hear these stories about like voodoo down south and that kind of
Mhm.
culture. What do you guys think about that? Do you think there's any type of
Well, I made a
dark
video on the
magic type
voodoo.
stuff going
Yeah,
on?
I did a video on the voodoo thing
Mm-hmm.
because I had a very good friend who was from St. Lucia, which is part of the islands that actually practiced the voodoo. And she told me a lot of spells that they use down there.
Huh.
None that I want to repeat,
Yeah.
but I know that it's not far from her hand if she ever wanted. She has to just go downtown in New Orleans, and they're on every block. You have
Yeah.
voodoo witch doctors. You have, people who will sell you spells and different kinds of things, right? So it wouldn't be hard for her to get a hold of it, put it that way. Not at all. And
So
if she thinks it's going to come true, it will. Power of the
I'm
mind
not
is
sure
overpowered.
personally. Possibly I feel like she at least tried. Um, I think that there's a real reason she knows all about it,
Mm-hmm.
of course, and that she tried, but I'm not sure. I'm just really not personally sure the extent of that. I don't know too much about that.
Yeah, I try to like remain scientific when it comes to all of this, but it's just mesmerizing how she could convince another person to kind of go along with all of this. I mean, I do know Nick claimed I begged her to just run away, but she wouldn't. Um, and then it just seems like she has all these guys after her when she was in prison, and it's I get these
I don't
vibes
believe
of
that
like,
either. I don't believe
I
that
don't know, I
either.
just get some weird vibes of like,
I think she just told Ryan that so that he would jump at the chance.
yeah.
Well, sociopaths are very charming, and I don't really believe that situation myself, but I do believe maybe one or two more, maybe even a few more than that, have wrote to her while she was in prison. I don't think Ken and Ryan were the only ones, but she's very charming and manipulative to people, as we've all seen. And she builds on this false connection with people where they're just giving her information that she didn't know of before. And that builds a sense of, I guess, them wanting to be protective of her and tell her, oh, you didn't know these things before. And so now here, let me help you. I'm going to give you this information and really just guide you and be protective of you. And that really, um, yeah, it just makes people feel protective over someone they feel doesn't know things and is not inferior, but just not as aware of the world and doesn't know how dangerous the world can be. So it builds on this false sense of connection. And I heard that in the prison phone calls that came out, that she was really manipulative with her aunt and everybody, really. But when it comes to building that sense of false connection, it was really more with her aunt than anybody else, her aunt and Christy, that she would make them feel as if they were protecting her and they were giving her this information she didn't know and guiding her through life. And they could be the sort of maybe mentor, protective figure in her life. And um, people, psychologically, people love that feeling of, oh, I'm helping someone, and
Hmm.
there's this person I need my help, and I'm here for them, and it, yeah, it just builds the sense of connection.
Hmm.
I kind of stirred things up with that in the comment section, but it's something I've been thinking about a lot, but just because it is commonly talked about down there in Louisiana.
Mm,
Um, just being able to go see a witch doctor, like you said, or,
mhm.
people go down there and get readings done and they look for people who can do spells or heal them, things like that. So, of
Yeah.
course, I kind of thought of that immediately when I thought of her and thought of this case.
And
Well,
I
I
mean,
wouldn't put it past her. I really think
yeah.
that she would go in a heartbeat to see a witch doctor, especially if it would bind Ken to her.
Well, she's already got him trapped now, right?
No,
With the baby.
I know, but hey, a man can walk away whenever he wants. Look at her dad,
That's true. And
and
he
she's
said he'd
used to
take
that.
custody, right? I think Ryan
There you
dished
go,
that out.
right? And you know what?
Uh,
Maybe in the back of her head is like, well, if I ever, get tired of being a mommy, take the kid and go.
yeah.
I often thought about that
Someone,
because she didn't want that kid really. She just wanted to be pregnant.
Hmm.
yeah. I don't know why someone would come out of prison and immediately get pregnant. Like, didn't you want to travel the world and do things and see things? And I'm sorry, but when you have a child, that is not gonna happen. It's just not.
Well,
Um,
you can't
it's
travel the world with a
expensive. You
felony
can't,
anyway.
right. It's expensive
Yeah.
to do that. It's not good for them. They need a routine. They need a pattern. Um, so I can't. I have to think, like you said, the only reason she locked down and had a child was to kind of keep him locked
So
down.
so I agree it was about attention, and I believe it has said that in the comments, and other people have said that um it was an attention thing, and to her, she doesn't look into the far future where she's the one taking care of her baby and it's stopping her from doing things. And honestly, it really hasn't stopped her from doing anything.
Yeah,
So I, because she can't form these connections with people, she doesn't think about it as this is someone's um, future father or someone who she's raising that matters. It's almost an impulsive thing. I'm going to have this baby. People are going to give me attention. I think there's even some perversion to that, but I won't go into that. I think
Yeah.
there's some perversion when it comes to the idea being pregnant, but it doesn't have a lot to do with actually having a child.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. I'm glad you said it. But it's true because there are vaginal and natural, like with very little drugs, if not any, actually orgasm while they're giving birth. And in my head, that's probably what she was thinking about, because we all know she is hypersexual. And why pregnancy of all things? I mean, she could go and do her BDSM wherever. Why pregnancy?
I mean, I see what you mean. And I agree. I think that there might have even been a little bit of that she had come across, or maybe even people around her were getting pregnant. She saw that, and she saw the attention, and she saw what people were saying about that in regards to what it took to become pregnant, and maybe some of that was part of it. I mean, that's just my theory.
Yeah.
Oh, by the
Mm.
way, hi, Lady Macbeth, and
Do
to the
you
Weeds podcast.
do you guys think also um it reminds me a little bit of Anna Nicole Smith. When
Mm.
she was feeling really lonely, she got pregnant because she was depressed. And she said, I just want someone to love and to be there with me all the time. And, she was very attached to her son, Daniel. But it almost makes me wonder if Gypsy kind of had that same complex of, I need to have a baby so that I have someone in my life forever that I'm connected to, because Ken could reject me, my family might reject me, but I'll always have this baby that loves me.
Yeah, it might be that she has the baby to love her, not her loving the baby.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
some
I mean, Anna
mentioned
Nicole
this,
Smith, she loved.
sorry, I couldn't hear what you
That's
were
okay.
saying. Someone mentioned this, though, that it could also just be a trap guarantee, but either way, it's none of us are speculating that it was a good thing and that she loves her baby and she's connected and it was a good thing, which I think speaks volumes.
She did a good thing by having a baby.
Right. Well, that she had good intentions, that she really wanted a baby, that she, you know, wanted a baby for good reasons, or for reasons aside from what we are discussing.
I don't know
Yeah.
about that though. I don't know about that, because Gypsy's emotions, when it comes to her ability to love something or anybody, she couldn't even do it with animals. You know what I mean? And the first thing when you're a kid, first real love that you find is with your very first pet sometimes, right?
Yeah.
She'd give hers
Yes.
around, she'd give hers up in a heartbeat for a
I
trip to
feel
Disney.
she also it was in a rush to have a child to prove to everyone like what a great mom I would be.
Think
More,
so?
yeah, like more of I'm not going to be, because she has this narrative, that Dee Dee abused her, and I feel like she wants to, I think in her mind, she 100% believes that and wants to prove to everyone like I'm not going to be like Dee Dee, or, whatever it may be. I just feel like she is doing this more to prove to us than more of it's my time to have a child, if that makes sense. Like
Well, then wouldn't she be doing a better job at it, you think?
I would think so.
And taking off on her 3 weeks after she's born.
Oh my God. I was telling a friend, I literally didn't go on a vacation until 2 years. I mean, we don't have family close by. I can see she has her family to watch the kid, but um, I just couldn't believe she went to a concert. in the first couple weeks. I was like, my God.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't get out of the house for 2 years. And
Yes.
you're tired, you don't feel like going out. You feel like I want to
No.
take a nap.
Mm-hmm.
Or clean the house or do something you don't normally have the time to do.
Yes.
House could
The
wait. Nap can't. I don't know though. I mean,
entire
like,
timeline and everything is just bizarre too. Even now, when she says things like she implies Ken has not seen Aurora for weeks, and then says they're connected and close, and then she's over there all the time, and he seems pretty certain about everything Gypsy, but then when it comes to his own daughter, he barely knows. They seem to still be figuring out how to be parents to this baby. I mean, not in the way that, everyone tries to figure out how they can improve and do better and learn developmentally what's appropriate, but that she's still talking to him about what kind of parents they want to be when Aurora needs to be fed and
oh,
changed, just very basic things.
yeah.
Yeah, like the
Modern
list,
family.
right? I mean, turn the lights off, take the trash out, change the diapers. I mean, like, you don't need to be reminded of that stuff.
Well, Gypsy does because she doesn't do any of this stuff,
Right. Remember she claimed
right?
I
She
do the
would,
overnight shift.
right? But she didn't clean her room before she had the baby.
Yeah.
So she's sitting there trying to spin tales like she's super mom or something. Meanwhile, I think Ken does like 99.9% of the stuff while she sits there and watches. I don't know.
Yeah,
I remember when
it's
she sat there and said to him, "Oh, I can't be holding her all the time. I can't be the
right.
one that's, doing this and doing that." And he's like, "Well, I'm there, I'm helping." "Oh, yeah, but I only mean when you're not there." And no, if you weren't there, that's what I'm talking about. If you weren't there. So what
Did
does
you
that mean?
say he was gone for 3 weeks? And I'm trying to figure out, I thought he kind of worked at a restaurant. So
Oh,
why
no, this
was,
was before that.
okay,
Remember he went
okay.
to Florida or something to see his parents or something?
For 3 weeks when they had the baby? I just don't, that's just,
No, it wasn't 3 weeks. I think it was only like 4 days or something.
okay. I could have swore
If
she
I'm
said
wrong,
3 weeks.
somebody correct me.
It's
But I
still
think
very weird because why does anyone at all who has been around that baby enough need signs to tell them when to do basic things when most of the time Aurora will be upset and, you know, it'll be pretty apparent when she needs to be fed and changed. She'll
Yes.
let you know that.
And that schedule is going to change on the dime. Right when you think
exactly.
you've got it down, they switch it up on you.
Yeah, exactly. And
Mhm.
they change from day to day,
Yeah.
and for her to have things written around the house, it's not for anybody else, it's for herself.
Right. And I think you cannot try to divide these responsibilities, right? Like Anne just in the comment, or Annie wrote in the comments, I mean, this is a 24-hour job, right? When you decide, okay, I'm going to bring a life into the world, you cannot think I'm only going to do nighttime and you're only going to do the mornings, because that's not how it works. You
No.
have to be on call
Versatile.
24/7. Right. Like this is your new life. And I'm sorry if you
Mhm.
don't like it, but you're the one who chose it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
But it comes
Well,
back to she doesn't seem to have thought of a future with a baby and what that entails. And she really, I remember I was talking to someone who had been in the same prison when Gypsy entered, I guess the same one as Nadatha too, because they were in the same prison. But she was talking about how the one thing that scared her was Gypsy getting pregnant, Gypsy having a baby, and she has not done any kind of work on that, any preparation for that, and that it was really kind of mind blowing when that happened. I thought of that one live stream I did with that woman because this is what she said would happen, and then it happened, and it was just as bad. It has been just as bad as we could have imagined so far.
Yeah.
She needs to take classes. She needs to, I mean, she needs to do a lot of things, but really right now, more than anything, she needs to take classes on how to be a better parent and show that, have evidence of that, and really just try.
Yeah, I mean, the girl needs to take that car seat to the fire department and have them set it up properly for her. That
Right.
is a free
Mhm.
service that you should go take advantage of.
Yeah. But I think she's already like resenting the baby.
Yeah,
You can kind of tell. I mean, when she shows her, it's all love and roses. But then when she's not around her, she doesn't even speak of her.
yeah, which usually you can't get a mom to shut up about their kid, right?
Right?
Yeah, especially if they're so busy with their child. It's their world. It's all they have to talk about.
Yeah, because they're always learning something new when it comes to parenting. You know what I mean? But she doesn't. And every time we say something like, oh, why is she doing this like this? Or why isn't she doing something like that? She'll do it every time.
By the way,
She'll make a
Crackett, I did
video.
not mean to mute you. I'm so sorry. I was trying to mute myself real quick.
Oh no, you're fine. I wasn't even talking. Um, I like that someone said wait till she's a toddler. I agree. I don't know if you guys
Mm.
agree, but I think babies are pretty easy. I think it's
Oh, God, yeah.
once they start moving is when
Mobile,
things.
mobile.
Yes.
Yeah, that's so true. And you got to put locks on all the cupboards, all the doors.
Yep. Yep. And they're on the move and they're getting into everything and they're discovering things. Someone even
Yeah.
mentioned, she's not really doing age appropriate things with the baby right now too. And I know she's a new mom, but I do hope she kind of seeks out what her child should be doing at this age. Um, I can tell she's trying to do some research, by doing like the tummy time. For me, I thought that was too early, but to each their own. But like the baby doesn't really care about watching Disney movies right now. They're not. Um, they want to look at colors and touch textures and do things like that. Do water
Oh,
play.
God. Explore, explore, explore.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I find, too, that she's kind of, now the baby is 5 months old, okay? The last picture we saw was at this African lion safari or whatever it was. And they're still holding her head like she's 3 weeks old. What's
Yeah.
up with that? I mean, she should have been holding her head for months now.
Well, I wonder if the baby's not able to support her head. Like, is the strength not there? Is she not showing signs that she can hold her head up by herself? I mean, I'm assuming she can, but we've never seen like a high chair picture or anything, like that. It's
No.
always being held or sleeping, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We haven't
Yeah.
seen her really interact with her child often either. Just occasionally, and it seems to be in a vindictive way. When Christy wants to be there and hold Aurora, for example, she seems to want to suddenly give her child attention. And then otherwise, it's just, oh, is she talking or crying? I don't know. I don't care. And
Yeah.
then she didn't really interact too much with Aurora
Because the
when they were both
camera's
on
on
that
her.
safari. I mean, I just,
The camera's on her. She's got to look good.
right.
I just
Eh,
hate that she put the child on social media in the first place. I remember when she did the news interview with ABC and she said, I will never put my child in the spotlight. And here we are.
Mm-hmm.
she ran out of options of other things she could come up with to make money. And that's so
Yes.
gross and unfortunate, but I mean, we know that's what took place, and that's exactly what she's doing. And she still isn't even successfully being a mommy vlogger. She's just rage baiting. I
Yeah.
believe that to an extent that's exactly what she's doing, is trying to pull emotion from her audience and from other people, because then people still talk about her, and she's using her baby for that as well.
I'm
Yeah,
going
I
to
mean,
change
the
the
whole
subject just for
blog.
a sec.
Yeah, the blog would not exist if she wasn't a mom, right? Like, what are you going to talk about in your YouTube video? I almost jokingly said, if you're going to do something about your prison life. You know, talk about prison reform. Talk about, I don't know, recipes you made in prison. Do something genuine to you, versus using your child to profit and make money.
Yes. Rose Red, you
Hmm.
wanted to say something?
Yeah, it's gone out of my 58-year-old head now. That happens sometimes. When I think about it again, this is what I was going to say. So a lot of these things that she does, like on her little skits or whatever, so when she's doing the baby toys or this hair dye or whatever it is, in my opinion, I think she's reaching for a deal. She wants somebody to
Yes.
partner with, to say that, look, they want me. More than the money, she wants the fame of it. You know what I mean?
Right, like all these product reviews.
Yeah.
There was a point I was wondering if she was sponsored, but I was like, I just can't imagine a company sponsoring with her type of background.
No, because everybody would be all over it and boycott the company. They
Yep.
can't afford that, because once this stuff gets out on social media, like the Salon said, it runs rampant. And
Speaking of the
they gotta,
salon, speaking of
yeah.
the salon, what do you both think is, if there's anything going to happen, is going to happen there? I know there's an investigation. Do you think that Gypsy's actually going to face consequences?
I don't. In my
I
opinion, I don't.
Yeah, I think she can manipulate her parole officer into constantly feeling like she's being set up, right? Like, oh, I'm famous, so this was fake, or this is for the show, or I feel like she can twist a lot of these scenarios. Like, let's say someone did report to CPS, which I think some people did, about the car seat. She might lie and tell CPS, oh, it was for the show. You know, we did that to stir controversy to get people to watch.
Yeah,
Um,
except the show wasn't on then.
right. But I mean, I feel like she can always manipulate and say, oh, it's because I'm famous, or I'm a celebrity, or I'm doing it for my new YouTube channel.
So there's nothing that she can't lie her way out of.
Yeah, that's what I feel. She's a master manipulator. That's kind of the way
Yeah.
I see her.
Yeah, yeah, me too, me too. Yeah, exactly. She'll just lie her way out of
What
it.
do you think, Indigo?
I personally don't see anything happening to her. I think that if she used anybody else's ID, they'll get in trouble. If the worker did just let her slide on by and does this frequently, that worker will get in trouble. I mean, deservedly so. I hate to say that, but if they're doing that, then I mean that can cause that company so much money, and it's really such a slap in the face to those who have truly worked hard to shop there. And so I see everyone else taking the fall again, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what kills me is I saw a creator this morning that was also a hairstylist, okay? And she said every time she goes in that store, she has to show her driver's license along with her hairdressing certificate or whatever it is before they'll sell her stuff. And I'm like, well, don't you feel weird that they didn't do that to her?
Yeah, that
Hmm.
is interesting.
And she said they knew her. She was in there all the time, but they still ask her. Why didn't they ask Gypsy for her paper?
Yes. So Emily E says, I am honestly thinking about reporting her to CPS with all the adult crap she puts on a baby. She's psychologically ABUSING or every day, and I can't take it. So that reminded me of something that happened to you, Rose Red, that my memory's foggy about, and I wanted to know more about. But I
Mhm.
remember vaguely Christy saying something to you to quiet you about some CPS thing. Can you tell me a
Okay,
little
so
more
this is
about
what
that?
happened. Um I saw Dreamer on a live with Bree. No, maybe it wasn't a live, but it was Dreamer. And she said something about it was the doctor that called CPS. That's all I heard. It was the doctor that called CPS. So I made my post. But then I found out later that Dreamer meant the doctor called on Dee Dee to CPS, not
Hmm.
Gypsy. So when she told me to take it down, I just went, no, I'll leave it up.
Oh, right. Because
Because
why did she want
sure
you to
I'm
take that
pretty
down?
sure somebody called her on that too. So, I know I got my wires mixed up, right? But when she came at me like that, then I got my heckles up, you know what I mean? So I was like, no, leave
Sure.
it.
Like, no, I'm gonna keep it. Yeah.
There you go. Right?
Yeah, no one likes to be told, like, please take that down. It's like, no, 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 don't try to make me feel like I'm in the wrong here.
There you go. I'm a very proud person. I'm
Well,
I'm one of these people.
and that's something I wanted to ask you, Crafted Evidence, is have you had anything happen with that group of people? For the most part, they've left me alone, but have they also left you alone?
Yes. Yeah, they have. And I think, it is interesting. YouTube is a learning experience for me. I worked in news before this. I still do a little freelance work, but I started my YouTube channel just in January. And I mean, this is 24/7, right? So you get
Yeah.
comments all day long. And it's different for me. Luckily, we have come to agreement where we're going to agree to disagree. And Reddit, if you don't know, I cover the Watts case a lot. And
Okay.
I had some creators disagreeing with me, posting some content. Um, and it's just sometimes we all just have to agree to disagree, right? And not
Yeah.
just go back and forth, back and forth. But I will
No,
tell
do it like
you,
adults.
yeah, I will say I see more vengeance in this Gypsy Rose community than I do, I think, in the Watts case, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like we're dealing with a different intellect when it comes to the Watts case versus the Gypsy Rose case. You're almost like trying to reason with someone that is unreasonable, if that makes sense. If they're on
Absolutely.
her camp, you're not going to
Absolutely.
convince them. You're not. But luckily, and I go, yeah, things have been cleared up and everything's good now. But um, I'm learning a lot. I don't know, if you've had anything on YouTube, but and I've also learned a lot from Amy too. So I love learning from you guys. Anything you can throw at me to learn.
So, as
Uh,
far as that
I
group
had to
of
teach
people,
myself everything. I came on
as far
here
as the
knowing nothing. Sorry, Indigo. Sorry.
no, 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 I
That
keep interrupting you.
I think
But
it's
as
weird
far as
because
that
we
group of
can't see
people,
each other. Okay,
um,
I'll shut up.
I've been left alone for the most part, but there was one point when I had just started talking about Gypsy, and then suddenly she wore these extension things to her maternity photo shoot. And I felt like kind of crazy thinking this, but at the moment I was thinking, is she trying to look like me? Because she mirrors people, and I'm not a big
Yeah.
deal, but she's also gone after other smaller creators. So I wasn't sure about that. And then it was interesting because she then posted those photos on Instagram on my birthday. And I
Ugh.
found that really kind of coincidental. But at the same time, it could be me reaching, honestly. But that's the only thing I remember her doing that was even potentially relevant to me. She just, for the most part, seems to leave me alone.
Yeah, I've never had I did have one person, I don't even know who it is, but it was someone with Gypsy's group. and they took something I said on Morbid and totally lied about it. But what I did, I took the clips from Morbid and I played it word for word and I called her out on it and she apologized. I'm
Mm.
trying to think of the name of who it was, you guys. I can't remember. It's not Dreamer. It was someone else
Tina?
pretty close, and she's out there a lot.
Was it
But she
Tina?
apologized and she laughed also because I kind of did an accent when I called her out. I did like a little accent impression of her, and she said, "You're right. I'm sorry. I misunderstood what you said."
Hmm.
Gosh, I wonder who it is.
It wasn't Sheena?
It is. Yes, that's who it is.
Oh.
Ugh. Yeah, that's the one who apparently doxed Ivy Rose Nose.
Oh Lord.
Oh,
Because
that's
I
who.
had somebody, I had somebody come in my comments and said they were in the live when she was bragging about it.
You know, I know a lot of people like get upset about the doxing, but you got to think most of our information out there is public record, you know, like where we live and things like that. You have to be pretty crazy to listen to someone from the internet and go harass people. And I know it's been done, I know it's happened. I
Hmm.
think there was just a case in Vegas where people took a
Yeah,
beef online into real life. But I just don't understand what they feel they're accomplishing by that. Um, I guess to instill fear, maybe.
pretty much. Yeah,
I think
my
part of it's
opinion.
also embarrassment. Like they're trying to humiliate someone who isn't maybe living in a good place. They might, I don't know. That's just my theory is maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
So, um, she looks a lot like Jodie from Anxious Ants in that pregnancy photo shoot. A little bit, yeah. I can kind of see that as well. Um, maybe. She mirrors
Mm,
so many people.
yeah.
You Are Not Alone says, did anyone here on Ivory Rose's news panel, someone came up and said they lived near Jip, had parole, and she has to go to a parole hearing in front of the parole board before she's off parole. Uh, do either of
What?
you kind of know how that goes, how that works?
I would think she would have to go to a parole hearing before they let her off.
Yeah, I think so too.
Just to make sure you're doing everything that you're supposed to. Have you violated parole in any way? When is that date? That should be coming up soon, right? Because it's June.
Yes.
22nd? Is it 22nd, I think?
Now I want to Google it while we're talking. I'm just curious.
Yeah. It's in
2
the
weeks and
20s, I know
6
that.
days.
Yeah.
And so
She
then
might be in
after
for a
that,
rude awakening.
she can move in with Ken, right? And my personal opinion is that somehow Ken is going to cut this relationship off before it gets to that point. I really do think that. I think he's having a panic attack, knowing that like this is about to get real and we're going to be around each other 24/7.
Well, plus two, she won't even find a freaking job, so he's going to have to pay for everything.
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
know, and it's almost a sad thing, kind of, that, I have so many ideas of things she could be doing instead to make
Yes.
content, and she wouldn't do it because this is so easy for her to just rage bait and show her baby, show her relationships, talk about that, just rinse and repeat, look for more interview opportunities. But as far as the parole thing goes, going back to that, I have never known anyone to get out on parole. I know people who are in prison for life, but they have no chance whatsoever of parole. So I don't know how that works. I don't know. But
By the
that's
way, it's June 24th, you guys.
she's
Okay, I knew it was in the 20 something there.
So it's coming up because I kept wondering, are you going to screw up before you go, before, you know?
yeah.
Well, they've got all the documents they could ever need on what she's been doing online because more than enough of us has sent them.
Yeah,
So I mean, they
I
should
know people have,
when she goes in there, they got a filing cabinet ready. Let me tell you.
right? I would think with the child endangerment stuff, though, they would act immediately on that. And I know a lot of people, even just watching the lives, who were nurses, there's a law that they have to report. If they see
Yeah,
something, they have to say something. So
yeah.
I have to believe that people really did report the car seat debacle.
So people in the comment section they're saying that she's already screwed up, she's already done things, and that's true. It's just that she's very manipulative. Oh, she's just somehow always got away with everything, and I just don't see them. I mean, they don't seem to care about anything she does unless she literally shoplifts and has full evidence of that. If she's um going to commit a violent crime, which I hope not. I really hope not. Also, can you hear me well?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I can hear it go in and out a little bit, but it's much better than it was way earlier.
Okay, sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with
No,
this
you're fine.
particular live stream. It's just maybe it's the witchcraft.
It could be. It could
It
be,
just
girl.
sounds like
She's
you're moving
casting a
around.
spell on us. And Indigo, you brought up a really good point. I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt before I did more research, um, that maybe she will be an advocate um, for prison um, reform in prison, or do something positive, donate, start a charity in her own name for children who are going through, just do something positive. And she's done nothing. I mean,
Mhm.
go volunteer for Habitat for Humanity, go help build a damn house, do something to give back to these organizations that you
Mm.
took part in. And I'm not seeing that. I heard she has donated money, but let's be realistic. I think she has a lot more money than, um, like, I don't know. And it's not even about money. You could donate your time. You could talk about
Mhm.
it. You could do a fundraiser for these nonprofits that she took part in on your channel. I feel like she's not giving back and doesn't care.
Yes, if she started a charity where she provided trips and wheelchairs and things for sick kids, that would be just incredible.
Right? Like, turn this negative thing into something positive.
I think too,
I'm
though,
laughing
like
because
with the
Bean goes, Habitat doesn't want her. Like, I
no,
get it, but they could take her money, right? They could take $1,000.
What were you going to say, Rosehead?
oh, I don't know now. I'm sorry. I'm like ADHD. So when thoughts come, sometimes they go just as fast.
They come in and
Sometimes
out.
they
Yeah, and
come
I'm in
back,
the chat
sometimes they
too,
don't.
because got a lot of good comments in your chat, girl. You've got some good people.
Oh, thank you. I have the best, I swear. Like, I converse with each and every one of them when I'm able, which is most of the
Yes.
time, I think, because I just love talking to them.
Well,
And
it's like a
some of
little
them give me,
community. Yeah.
yeah, and some of them give me such good insights and everything. They share things with me, and I don't feel adrift in this big ocean all alone. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because before starting YouTube, I mean, I was lucky if I could take a picture with my camera.
Wow.
So I've had to teach myself a lot along the way. And I have to say, a lot of viewers help me out in that regard. I mean, they also um, patting you on the back as you're going, to keep you momentum going because Lord only knows I probably would have quit a few times
Oh, I can
just because
see.
dealing with
Yeah.
Gypsy is so not psychosomatic. What's the word I'm looking for? Hypermaniac or whatever.
Well, it's
I
got
don't
to
know how
be
you say
really
it.
draining too. Like it gets
Yeah,
exhausting when
it
you keep
changes
getting
so fast.
pushback from people too.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, if you didn't check your phone the night before you go to bed and something happened, by the time
Yes,
morning
it
comes,
explodes.
everybody knows and you've got old news, right? So,
Right. Do you guys
So
ever
I
have to
mean,
take like a mental break from some of this stuff and like, I don't know, go out to the park and kind of like detox off of it because covering true crime can be very negative, negative vibes. And I'm always trying to think of positive things we can do when we talk about it. But sometimes I
mhm.
have to take like a little detox from it.
I
I'm going
take a
to say
day here and there. Yeah.
I'm going to say that people have told me they don't really know how I cover the things I cover, given what I've been through with people that I dated. And I'm always thinking, no, I've got this. I've been to therapy and all this stuff, healed. And then the past several weeks, I've kind of, without realizing it, dissociated a lot. And I think that this has a lot to do with it. And I try to alternate cases, but even then, there's parts of that that, can be really, I want to say triggering. I don't feel triggered, but I guess that's really, for lack of better word, what it is. And
Mhm.
I'm having to kind of monitor how much time I spend with keeping up with what people like Gypsy do.
Yes, because it becomes like a full-time job. I also want to mention the post you made the other day. I want to thank you so much for sharing that and um, just being open to sharing your story and putting that out on the internet. My jaw dropped when I read that. Um, what you've been through and the fact that you are able to speak about cases and things like that. I'm amazed.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know how
Thank
you do
you.
it, but I know that we all go through things for a reason, and I think maybe that you went through this for a purpose because you are a well-spoken person and you can advocate.
Thank you. That means a
Yeah.
lot to me. Um, I did, and I talk a lot about that particular thing because it's a well-known case. But I've gone through many other things that were similar just because, and this is the reason I had to look up hibistophilia, because I was really attracted to those kinds of people. And so there are other people that are very similar that I dated, people that threatened to burn my parents' house down. Uh, you know, they were career criminals and they did things that really hurt people. And I dated a lot of those kinds of people. And so yeah, again, it can cause me to dissociate, to really forget, uh, just segments of time and things. And I didn't really realize that until recently, but I kept quiet about so much of this for 11 years. There was a large part of my brain that was really protecting me, keeping me from remembering all of it. Um, because the human mind can only go through so much all at one point and process all of that at one point. So over time, I processed all of that. I went to a lot of therapy. I really just tried to get through it. And because of that, now I'm able to finally talk about that. And so I'm yeah, hopefully it's helpful.
I think you are helping people, a- and I hope the more you do talk about it, the more it helps you heal. I know you've gone through therapy, but sometimes I think even just sharing in a different realm, besides in a with a therapist, maybe, with your community, you might find some healing in that too.
Definitely, it can be cathartic. Also, where did Rose go? Okay,
Oh,
Rose
did
Red.
she drop off?
I was like, did I say something?
She said, I messed up. Which, well, just come back in.
Let's see if I can send the link. I'm actually probably not going to be on here much
Oh, if you want to
longer.
wrap it up, that's fine too.
I'll let her back on briefly.
Okay. Have you, Indigo, been following this case out in Washington, the Travis Decker at all?
I've heard a little bit about it, but I didn't think there was really a lot of information about it out there. I'm not.
Yeah. I will be interested when we do get some videos for you to analyze um, Travis Decker, because right now we don't really have any interviews to go off of or even home videos to go off of. So I'm just hoping, they catch him. He is still on the run and accused of unaliving his 3 girls. Rose, are
Sorry.
you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
I went to go into chat to say thank you, main chick. Main chick said something really nice. I went to go out.
Oh, which one of you has an Android? That person brings up a good point.
I have
I
an
have an
Android.
Android.
Okay, I've heard StreamYard is not friendly with Androids, audio-wise. So maybe that's what was going on.
I do
Yeah,
my
that makes a
lives
lot of
on there.
sense.
And you have no problem? Maybe it's when you
No,
add other people in.
Hmm.
no, I have no problem.
Huh.
Is that
Well,
better?
she cursed us, you guys. That's what we're gonna go with. That's the
Yeah,
verdict on
that's it.
it. She cast a spell when she saw that you put out you're going live at 8 p.m.
Mhm.
Well, I
Makes
just want to
sense.
say thank you, Indigo, for having me on your show.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah,
And
and
thank you
nice
as well,
meeting
Crafted
you.
Evidence.
Oh yeah,
Crafted
thank you
evidence.
guys so much. Yeah, girl, I'm gonna come follow you. And Indigo, I sent you a message. I have another journalist who wants to collaborate with me, and she does all of the Michael Jackson stuff, and she is really interested. I told her about you, and I said maybe the 3 of us can do an analysis on some of his past interviews. If you're interested, she would really love to have you.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome, and I
Okay.
appreciate that. Yeah, we'll have to come up with a time and day if you don't already have one.
Nope, nope. Whatever, we'll work around whatever you're available.
Awesome. Yes, I would like to do
Perfect.
that. Definitely. And thank you all so much for joining in chat. I've read quite a bit of your comments. You're all very sweet, and I know you've all been supportive to Rose. Please go follow Rose Red and Crafted Evidence. I'll try
Thank
to
you.
leave their links in the comments, in the description, just wherever. And so go follow them. And thank you all for sharing your thoughts. I really have appreciated you all being here and sharing what you know and what you think and just being so supportive.
Yeah, thank you again. I'll see you
Thank you
guys.
so much.
All right, I will see you all later. Have a great evening.
Good
Okay,
night, guys.
bye.